Alrighty, Mr. Gatekeeper here. We got Mr. Kevin's Texas Star 667 here. This is one of 3 amplifiers that he sent me. And he has been waiting a little extra time than anticipated. I want to thank you for hanging in there with me, Mr. Kevin. Had some issues with the preamp and everything. I'm sure you know about. Added a little bit of time to everything, but we got that straightened out, thank God. And just hang in there with me, bud. I'm gonna try to get all this finished up by June if I can. I'm gonna do it all I can do, bud. That's all I can do is what I can do. Alright, bud. Well, anyway, you're asking for a power wire upgrade, full power wire upgrade. I'm having some problems with my phone. For some reason it quit recording for some reason, but I'm not out of space. But anyway, you want me to upgrade the combiner ferrites for the input and output. There's really no reason to do that. I see you have, or somebody has upgraded the output. But you're asking me to do it. I'll do it for you. That's fine. Hopefully it won't throw off the tune that much. I know the actual reading of the inductors just from the bigger ferrite will change a bit. Hopefully it won't throw it off that much. I've really never upgraded the combiners before with bigger ferrite for this particular model, but we'll try it and see how it works for you. And any other upgrades I want, okay. We won't get too crazy. I am a little backed up, so. But anyway, you said that you let's see, you want to fix the issues that's preventing it from keying up. So it seems to be a keying issue. Amp powers on before it is keyed. Possible short, and that actually sounds like some oscillation to me. I am guessing he's saying basically when the power turns on, the amplifier is oscillating or something. But I see a couple issues in here already. I'm seeing a bias resistor that's blown right here. That ain't good. Both the 10 ohms here look pretty dark, like they're blown. I see somebody has, like I think I've already mentioned, somebody's put some HGs in here, which is cool. I'll get it figured out, man, before we do the power wire upgrade, though. I'm going to fix all the issues first. There's no need to do any kind of amp mods until the actual repair is finished. Somebody has put some 300 picofarad caps on here. That's kind of unique. For this particular model, they've took them off. I'm sure somebody added them once they put the HGs in here, which is fine. I'm going to take them off and just check them, just because that's what I do. When anything looks different, I like just to double check behind it. I see it looks like maybe a lamps one out over here. It's like you've added, or somebody's added. I keep saying you. I don't know if you've done this or not, but I'm sorry about that. You didn't mention in here, so I'm just going to say someone did this. But we'll get it straightened out, man. Get this mod done and get to the next amp. See if I can't get them all done back to back to back if nothing comes up. Alright, let's get on in here and get my hands dirty and see what I can figure out. I'll be back. Alright, Kevin, just did a little bit of testing real quick, some preliminary tests. It appears these two 10 ohms over here are blown, and I'm just going to give a wild guess that these 2 transistors are blown. And just an early hypothesis, I think I can see why it's possible. Alright, I'm about to show you the bias voltage on each section. Okay. Alright, showing the bias voltage for this 2-pill section first. Alright, I'm going to manually key the amp now. It's at 1.6 volts. That is way too high. Way too high. That will blow some transistors pretty quickly. Alright, let's move our lead from there to here on this 2-pill section. And manually key it again. Quit recording on me again. I don't know why it's doing that. Might have something to do with me uploading videos to Dropbox. But anyway, manually key it again. And as you see, 0.65 volts. That's perfectly acceptable for a transistor. So this section right here is fine, while this section isn't. So there's something wrong with the biasing of this section. It's got it thrown off. And it's sending too much base voltage, which means too much current to the base of these two transistors. And that's probably why they're possibly blown. I'm not saying they're blown yet. I haven't checked them. And I'm sure it's got something to do with the voltage divider that's right here. This voltage divider is working in conjunction for the two MOSFETs and these right here to make sure that these are getting what they need and those are getting what they need. Hopefully these are not blown, but I can't promise nothing either. Too much bias voltage can be catastrophic. Alright, now I'll be back. Alright, bud. Somebody had put this resistor in there, which is not the right resistor, and I don't know why they put it in there in the first place. I don't know, maybe for some reason it had blue, possibly. But got the right part in there now. So now this is this 2-pill section. Go ahead and manually key up. Booyah. Alright, so now we have equal bias going to both transistors. Alright, so that's the first thing out of the way. That's the most important first thing that I always make sure to do. Alright, now let's check and see what the damage that it caused. And go ahead and check all these transistors, man. And from the looks of it, I'll go take a look at the transistors that you sent me. We may be in luck, so we won't have to replace all 4, because I know you did send some HGs. Alright, I'll be back. Hey bud, as I guess, man, both of these are blown.
Here's an image of the gold triangle headed beam.
And I done checked that one as well. And that one is blown too. So, looks like the bias took them out. I'm going to check the other two now. And at this point, I'm going to go over there and check out the transistors you sent me as well. And if these are not blown and you sent me 2 transistors that match, then we're good to go with that. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, this is something else I need to go ahead and point out before I even take these out. Alright, I noticed that when I was taking these 2 out, I'm talking about the very second that I'll go to put my my Allen bit on to unscrew it, none of them were torqued. There was at least 2 of them that were so loose they wouldn't even tighten down. Now we have the same issue here. I have not touched nothing but this first one right here, and I noticed, I mean, just touching it, it's not even torqued. Let me see if I can't zoom in. See, look at that. See how I'm moving that? That is exactly how this amp came to me. I have to say it's the first time I've ever seen that before. See, that's just unscrewing that easy. It's not even torqued. Let's go take a look at these 2. God, same thing. I mean, you know, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions. I mean, I guess it's possible that these were unscrewed, maybe. I don't know. Maybe for some reason they were unscrewed and wouldn't tighten back down all the way. And hopefully they wasn't being ran this way. I don't know. I can only say what's going on now. And these are not torqued down. Transistors can go out pretty quickly like that. They've got to be torqued That's why I like using Allens personally myself, because I can torque them down real well. So, alright, well, I'm about to pull these out and check these. Fingers are crossed. I hope they're good. Alright, brother, you did get lucky, and those two transistors are good, but the HFE value has been dropped on them, so we don't have a matching set of 4 amongst the transistors that you sent. So what I've done here is just grabbed a set of 4 100% matching HGs. It's the HGs with the new cap now that they're using. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in here for you, and we can just do some trading or whatever. We'll figure it out in the end, bud, because pretty much you've got 4 HGs, but they don't match. We'll work it out. We'll do a little bit of trading. Figure it all out, bud. Alright, man. Let me get these things in here and see if this thing's working good. Another thing, too, these 330, or these 300s are right here. They're kind of a little far off from each other. They range from like 280, no, 290, all the way to like 320. So I got you a matching set of 4. Got you a matching set of 4 330s here. The ones Texas Star actually used, and I'm gonna throw one there for you. Alright, man, let's see if we can get this working, and then we can do the power wire upgrade. Alright. Alright, brother. I'm just checking some measurements of these combiners. I just kind of wanted to see what it looked like inductance wise from the regular normal size and this. There isn't that much of a difference, so go ahead and put you a brand new one on here. I will tell you, bud, there's really no reason at all to put one of these on the input. You gotta think, man. The only thing going through this input is that right there. That driver is going through this. That's it. And that's splitting off to the 2. I'll talk to you on the phone. I mean, if you still want to add this big joker right here, which there's no need to, I will do it for you. These things ain't too cheap either. But alright, man, I'm gonna add this on here and see if this bad boy works, man. I've got new transistors in there. I put you 4 new caps on the feedback circuits too, so they all match. Got the 330s in there. Yeah. I'll end up taking this keying circuit right here out and putting it down there right, probably. That's a lot of extra wire right there. Alright, man, we'll be back. Well, guess what, brother? Bingo! This bad boy is repaired. I'll show you some output real quick. Right there, about 200 bird. Not even hitting it yet. Putting it on a good supply. So she's sitting in a good spot, man. Honestly, if this was my amplifier, I would probably convert it to a 500. I'm not the biggest fans of the new hybrid, but you know, it is what it is. So we got a couple things fixed, man. You got the bias fixed. Got your 4 matching set of HGs in here. Shoot, man, it's already doing 200 bird right there. I don't see why we're gonna be able to get 400, and that's normally what I can get out of a 667 or a 500 on the unrigged 100 amp supply over here. Alright, man, well, it's about 5 o'clock in the morning. I have put in a full day. I have been working pretty much since about 11 o'clock this morning. I took a lunch break, and then I took another break. But yeah, I've put in over 12 plus hours a day. It's been a full day. Maybe even 14 hours. This is the third repair for today. Alright, man, I'm going to go ahead and get into bed. Tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up, get this power wire upgrade done for you, bud, and we'll do a final output and off to your second amp. Alright, big brother, we'll be back. Bye-bye. Gatekeeper, going to the flat side. I'm gone. Alright, old Gatekeeper here. Got done with your power wire upgrade, bud. Full power wire all the way to the back of the transformer. Got some extra long length wire on there for you. Got new chokes on the driver, the finals. As I always show, this right here is what's feeding the back of the transformer. So each two transistors are being fed with that thick of wire. You see what I'm saying? And now they're being fed with this, which has more inductance now also, which is going to be a better chance of keeping the RF off the DC line as well. So we go from there to there. A lot thicker wire, better chance of staying a little bit cooler, a little bit more current possibility as well. Alright, one thing I'm going to do, which I don't have to do, but I am going to do just to kind of share. The real common thing in these amps, one of the most top common thing is the keying circuits going out. Even though they got a current limiting resistor, they still go out for some reason. And a lot of times people will just kind of cut the leads as you see here. See if I can zoom in. You see that? Which is perfectly fine. It's going to work just fine, you know, no difference. But if you want to try to do it the best way possible to, you know, you want to try to keep all your lead lengths as short as you possibly can. And the absolute best way is to remove all three wires, and all you need is a little device like this. And you'll be able to remove those wires no problem. I like to clean it with acetone and then solder back down the transistor. So I'll go ahead and do that. I don't have to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway for you, bud. And when I'm done, you really won't be able to tell the difference of you know, the way it looked from the factory and this. Alright, I'm going to put a smaller tip on my soldering iron. I'll be back. Alright, and I got it removed now, and use the solder sucker to get all the solder out of there. Now I'm going to clean it up real good with some acetone, and I'm very glad that I did this because the 15 picofarad capacitor, which is taking a sample of the RF, his leg had a cold solder joint. That might have been why you were having some keying issues, and it just luckily was touching the trace good enough earlier when I was running it, but it was a cold joint, so I got that fixed for you. Alright, I'm going to clean this up and get the new, and get, well, the same keying circuit. I'm going to shorten the leads a little bit, keying transistor, excuse me. Be right back. Alright, now you can see it's clean as a whistle. So I'm going to go ahead and shorten the leads and put the transistor back in. Alright, and there you go. It's a lot shorter. It's always best to keep them leads as short as possible. Alrighty, let's go ahead and do a final output of this bad boy. It turned out great. Everything went somewhat smooth. Had to do a couple of things. Also, one thing before I forget, you had a very close to being a dead short on, you know, you mentioned that on here too, possible short. this happens a good bit, man. Whenever you do a power wire upgrade, I've done had this happen at least 5 or 6 times that I can think of, where people have attempted to do power wire upgrades themselves, and solder will seep down on this hot bus over here and touch the ground. Actually, a close personal buddy of mine just recently did that, and you'll have a short there. So I'll just go ahead and tell you what I do. I'll go ahead and insulate the bottom of the board from this over here on this board, since that does happen a good bit, and it can happen over time just with the heat and the board starting to warp. Go ahead and insulate this board from the frame here. Put some plastic up under there, some cardboard up under there. I mean, I know you ain't gonna want to remove the whole board and put some insulate it that way. Just be creative. I have a way that's very effective that I use, and that's something that I do for especially the newer boards. It happens with these newer boards a lot more for some reason. I think the holes are a little bit bigger, is my guess. So anyway, all I had to do, man, was press this board just a little bit and it was shortened. So I went ahead and fixed that for you, man, so that won't be an issue in the future. Alright, I'm going to get everything hooked up. We got it hooked up on the old servo supply. We're on 14.5 volts. We got the bench radio hooked up, 4 watts RMS. About 18 to 20 peak as usual for the bench radio. Alright, well, we're about to see, I can't remember off the top of my mind what it was doing before the power wire upgrade. I remember a number of like 200 bird and like 400 peak. So that's pretty neat. At least I did a little reading before that. We'll be able to see if there's any kind of increase noticeable just from doing the power wire upgrade, which in my from the many that I've done so far, I would say about 9 times out of 10, literally, not just saying that, 9 times out of 10 there is an increase. There's been a few times that there really wasn't an increase that I've noticed, but the most of the time there is a little bit of an increase, because you're getting a little bit more voltage to the components and a little bit more current. Alright. Alright, we got it turned on. Alright, RMS first. This is 1,000 watts low. Oh, do I have it turned on? Let me see here. Yeah. My mic is starting to get a short. I might have to fix that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of an increase. Let's take a look at the peak. I think it is a little bit of an increase, maybe 50 watts. Alright, let's go ahead and put this thing on a good power supply. That right there is what I just used for testing. That things don't do real well when it comes to current. So let's get this thing put on the unregged supply. Hit it again with the bench radio. Then we're going to hook up the old hot like we usually do and see what this thing's going to do. And I'm going to go eat me some crystals. I don't know about y'all, but I'm good and gone. But I'll be right back in a second. Alrighty. I just remembered my normal plug that I use. Somebody is borrowing it. So the normal plug I use is, see, we get 2 4-gauge wires here coming from the unrigged supply. My normal plug I use is 2 4-gauges with big gator clips. So I'm going to have to continue to use this 8-gauge right here. So basically, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, man, just keying up just a little bit with that supply, them cables are already a tad bit warm. So it was wanting more current. So we're just going to do some quick keys. Might get a little bit better performance if I had my bigger cables. I just wanted to point that out. Alright, we're on the unrigged supply now. Alright. Same radio, just hooked up on a little bit better power supply, a little more current. Alright, RMS, 1,000 watts low. Oh yeah. Oh what's this thing talking, man? About 280? Oh, yeah. PP. Oh, man, this thing. This thing's getting up and going, baby. What's this thing talking right there? About 700? Look at the voltage drop on this cotton picker, man. Oh, 13.3 volts. Damn, this thing's a performer. Woo! It makes G's getting down with their big bad selves. Alright. Normally I'd hook the hot radio up now, but that sucked that supply down. I got it on the medium tap. It ain't on the high. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and flip it on the high tap. And we're going to hit it with the bench radio one time per reading. Then we'll hook up the hot radio, and I'm just going to burp it once real quick. I don't like hitting these MOSFETs too hard. That's just a quick burp just to show, you know, the maximum performance. And I will give my normal disclaimers like I always do. Alright, be right back. Alright, I noticed this little LED that you added right here. You got a 470, well, excuse me, not you, whoever added, I'm sorry about that. There's a 470 on there. This might blow it on the unregged supply. If it does, I'll replace it with a 1K. I don't know why somebody put a blue one there. It's really not lighting this up too much, but I didn't give no instructions on replacing it, so I'll leave it be. So I'm just going to kind of turn it on, hit it, and turn this back off because I don't want to blow that resistor if I can't help it. Alright. Now we're on the high tap, same radio, 4-watt radio. We're just giving this thing a little bit more current. I'm going to move this voltmeter right here. And I'm about to knock it over about twice already. Alright. RMS. Boom. Nice peak still, hold on. RMS. Boom. Boom. That's 380, man. Just hitting it with the bench radio. Boom. That's peak. Already hitting about 850 already. Just hitting it with the 4-watt radio. Alright. We're going to go ahead and hook up the hot radio. And I'm just going to quickly burp this, y'all. A quick burp. And then we'll leave it be. Be right back. Alright, bud. Here's on the high tap. RMS. Let's see if we can't get 400. Boom. Right there at it. Boom. Peak. Boom. Right there at 900 watts, big guy. Alright, brother, real quick. I made a small change after I checked your dead key and everything. I added this padding resistor back in here. This normally comes stock, and what it is, a lot of times there's a couple of different instructions out there for converting these amplifiers, brand new, over to voice operated amplifiers instead of CW. And sometimes people will remove these. I think there might be in some of the instructions, but sometimes it's good to remove them. Sometimes you don't need them there. This particular box I really did feel didn't need them there, and the reason why, if you have this on high, okay, just like this on high, only putting 1 watt, or actually a little under a watt. So this is my bench radio, okay. Alright, so that's a 10 watt slug. You're looking at the bottom scale. So the 20 is 2 watts. So that's just a little under 1 watt of a dead key. And what the problem was is 1 watt was turning into about 220 watts of dead key just on this supply right here. So it'd be even higher on a better supply. And then at that point it's swinging backwards. Just putting 1 watt into an amplifier swinging backwards is not a good thing. Okay, so at that point, if you put it on medium, or turn the variable down a little bit and let it swing up, you're good to go there. Because the main thing you do not want to swing backwards on your RMS meter. That's the big thing. Once you're swinging back on that bird meter, the transistors are being saturated. Okay, that's why I peak. That's why you can't just go by. See, that's starting to have some problems with my phone. Just stopped recording for some reason. I'm so sorry about that. Well, anyway, so now after putting this padding in here, which came factory, okay, on high, you'll see. Turn the peak off. Sorry about that. I was sitting here talking, doing the video just now, and finished the whole video and figured out it wasn't recording. Right there up under 200. So he's swinging forward just a little bit. Before I put the padding resistor in there, it was, like I said, doing about 220 on the dead key, swinging back. And see, another cool thing about it too is, if this was my box, I would run it on medium. If this was my box, you see now, a little bit under a 100 watt dead key. Swinging real close to the same thing, and you're still gonna get the same swing on the peak out of it. A little over 400 watts. And you know, we're on this supply again on 14.6 volts. So the amplifier is doing the same swing pretty much, and it's not working as hard. So it's going to run a lot cooler. So like I said, man, you really hard just to go by your peak meter. That's why we, you know, huff and puff this all the time. It's good to use that CW, average, RMS, whatever you want to call it, meter. And even if you have an old dozy center back there, I'm thinking about hooking that bad boy in line for all you dozy lovers. Put on that average scale. Check and see what your amplifier is doing. You know, you may just need to turn that dead key down a little bit. Or you might not have the right kind of radio tuned to be running what you're running. It's better to not be swinging at all on the RMS scale than to be swinging backwards, because them transistors are being saturated, and I mean, they're being ran very hard at that moment. So there you go, bud. Just want to add that in there to you, man. All right, off to your other two. I thought it quit recording again. All right, 73. Bye-bye.